Alright. Today I wanted to talk about this website called Working Solutions. Working Solutions. So, I heard about it through a YouTuber. Basically, it's pretty much a customer service based website that hires people remotely. Now, let me see. I'm looking through my history to see her video. She made a video doing the application process, and she ended up getting hired. I did the application process yesterday afternoon, and when I checked my email this morning, I got denied because they say that they're not accepting applications currently from my state. Her process looked a little different from mine, and I don't know what state she's located in. Her name is Kimberly Mitchell. KimberlyMitchell. Her video is called Step by Step Working Solutions Application. So she ended up getting hired. It looked like the role that she saw available, and this was, dang it, I don't know how long ago. I think it was like 4 months ago. It wasn't that long ago, I don't think. I want to say it was 4 months ago. Anyways, I can't see it because it's a thumbnail, and if I click it, it'll take me off of this app here. So, Working Solutions basically is a customer service based app. She takes you through a whole process that I didn't even go through. Her process included, making a profile, uploading a resume or CV, and then answering a bunch of, questions. The position that she applied for wasn't even available on my version. Mine had like something about customer service for like medical, customer service for some other thing. I can't remember what it was. But I could only click on one, so I clicked on the different customer service. I think it had something to do with like, what do you call it? Benefits or something. But it had 2 other types of positions that I didn't think I would fit, and I don't remember what they were. And then there were 2 that I was like, I think these 2 would be good, but it only let me click one. So I could see if I could go back and click the other ones, but I don't really know. They're not the same ones that she had available to her when she was showing her example. And then there were some other people on there that also didn't get hired. One of them said that their application just got denied straight out. Mine specifically said because of the state that I'm in. I'm in California, and they're not hiring contractors for my state. So I don't really know what that means. I know what that means, but it's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird because it's remote work. So that one, I don't really know. I can't say firsthand, but I can say at least they responded within 24 hours. So, like I said, I submitted it yesterday evening, probably around 4 or 5 p.m. And by the time I checked my email this morning, I had an answer. Let me see if I can see what time they actually emailed me. 6 a.m. I don't know if 6 a.m. was when they messaged me or when I put this into the trash. folder. No, it was 6 a.m. this morning. And then yesterday, when I did submit the application, they did tell me, the process of waiting. And, you know, so I guess you have some options. There's another site that I haven't tried yet. I don't want to spend too much time with these types of applications if they're gonna get, a little bit too, if they're gonna be like draining too much of my time. But I do want to spend some time with it. Because if people say it works out, it might work out. Now, there's one called Concentrix, Concentrix. I mean, I don't know if this is considered one of the better ones. I've heard people talk about it a lot. I don't know. I'll have to try to sign up and see what happens in my experience. Usually, with these types of things, they're not hard to sign up for. Just the issue is getting regular work. It seems pretty dry most of the time. Like, they don't really seem to have a lot of work oftentimes. And so, I'm kind of doing this little side project trying to see, like, with the economy as it is, what little side jobs kind of work out. And like I've mentioned, other than Uber Eats and that EPMS Ellis Online mystery shopping apartment thing, I haven't really found a lot of things in my area in LA that like work, where you can just do it at your own will without having to deal with like lengthy application processes and things. I mean, there are a lot of mystery shopper gigs around my area, but again, they are like a little bit time consuming for a little bit of money. That's why I like the EPMS one, because at least like you're getting like at minimum you're getting like $40 if you do it right. And you can make more than $40 per viewing, and per viewing, but that comes with phone calling and coordinating and getting to the viewing and then coming back and doing like a survey. But I mean, the other types of mystery shops I've seen usually pay like $8, $12. They're a lot faster, they're a lot easier, but it's like, it's not a whole lot of money. So I don't know, and they don't seem like they have a lot available. Like the EPMS ones, I've been avoiding it because they have like the ones where you have to contact the specific person, the specific leasing professional, and because I don't like that, I've been kind of avoiding them. I haven't seen any new posts though. Like, I think I missed the post date for October, because I thought it was the 1st, and I thought it was the 2nd, and I thought it was like the 23rd. I mean, I thought it was the 1st or the 7th or the 8th, but I was pretty sure it was the 1st of the month. But then I was like, well, because the cutoff for the pay period is the 7th of the month, maybe they come out on the 8th. Maybe I was wrong. And then because this last weekend was the 22nd, which is the payday, they said that I got an email saying that like they're gonna send not late payments, but instead of getting paid on the 22nd, because it was a weekend, you get paid the next business day, which was Monday yesterday, the 23rd. So I don't know if that would mean that today is the first day, or maybe I just totally missed it. Maybe they don't have any new posts, or maybe they all got taken. I mean, word travels fast, you know. If I'm talking about ways to make money online, people are going to be online making money. So it's very possible that people have just gone online and taken all the ideal ones. Um, the ideal gigs are the ones where you don't have to contact a specific person, because that does make it take a little bit longer sometimes. Sometimes you look out though and you just get the right person at the right time. But yeah, I haven't seen any near me at all. They don't seem to have replenished at all. Um, yeah, there's really not a lot of them right now. I keep seeing the same ones. Um, I think the closest ones to me are still like Marina Del Rey, which is like just under an hour from me if I'm driving in like normal traffic. So I don't really know. Marina Del Rey and up near like LAX. So I don't really know. I don't really spend too much time up that way. I spend more time a little bit east, over by Compton, Linwood, kind of over there. I don't spend that much time north or south. So it's kind of hard to really kind of schedule. Um, but yeah, I really haven't seen any new ones, so I don't know. I think maybe I missed the drop date for the new gigs, or people are just savvy to it and they all got on there and took them all, um, which is very possible. But there are still some listed. I don't really like the ones where you have to like be doing all this phone tag and stuff. Um, and especially if they're far away, like then I still have to like drive all the way over there. So I don't think I'm really gonna. I don't know. I was thinking of getting like 2 or 3 gigs, but I really just don't know. I don't think this week is the best week to try to do that for me, anyways. Because I've got a lot of other plans. But I do want to try some of these other application processes. Um, I mean, I'm kind of getting to a weird point where, you know, I've been applying to a lot of stuff. I am picky. It's not that I haven't gotten job offers. It's just that I've been declining some of them uh, because they just aren't a good fit. Like, either the hours aren't a good fit, or it's mostly mental health sites that want me to work for them, which aren't a good fit. And some of them haven't responded back to me, and some of them have. And then there's these places, I talked about it a little bit, these life insurance commissions only kind of MLM looking sites. One of them's called Symmetry Group, the other one's called Primerica. I mean, I've heard mixed reviews about people talking about how they're good companies and stuff, and then I just personally can't get myself to care to want to really talk to these people. Um, it just doesn't sound like it's going to be a good fit for me. Um, so I'm trying not to contact those sites, but they're the ones who keep reaching out to me, because it's kind of like an MLM type of thing where you're supposed to get people you know to sign up. I know people that talk about how they've made money with that, and I think if you really hustle, you can do it, but I'm not really into it. Like, you know, I don't want the potential of working for an 8-hour shift and not making any cash off of it. Um, you know, um, I'd rather do Uber Eats, you know. It's like I haven't done 8 hours yet where I haven't made any money. I think I've done like an hour, maybe an hour and a half where I haven't made any money. And they stopped showing the hot spots now on Uber Eats. So now I kind of don't have a lot of direction. I'm just kind of like roaming around aimlessly. Um, but there are certain areas I've noticed, like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A almost always gets orders. McDonald's right before the breakfast ends, like around 10 something, McDonald's usually gets a lot of orders. Certain neighborhoods, Jack in the Box gets a lot of orders, but I'd probably say Chick-fil-A is probably the place that I've been to the most. Chick-fil-A, Jack in the Box, McDonald's. Those three places, I almost always get orders from those places. So, and where I live, there's a lot of Japanese restaurants, so I get a lot of orders from like ramen and like Japanese curry spots. Curry House, that's a popular one in my area. Um, a little bit of Jersey Mike's, not too much, but a little bit. But I'd say probably Chick-fil-A is where I get most of my orders from. And then there's like those wings. What are those like Wingstop? Those type of places. I've gotten quite a few orders from those types of spots too. And then 7-Eleven as well. But 7-Eleven probably less. I'd probably say Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. I've gotten a lot of orders from those spots. But yeah, I mean, it's not like guaranteed if you just like sit in the parking lot, you're gonna get an order. There's certain areas where I try to go near, and then there's certain areas I try to avoid because of the traffic, but there's certain areas I try to go near. But honestly, it always leads me out to Compton. Like, there's always that one order that takes me from like Gardena to Compton. And then I'm just like in Compton doing deliveries, like every time almost. Whenever I'm online for more than like an hour, I always end up in Compton. So, I mean, I don't know what's up with that. But I do get a lot of orders in that area. Just they're low price, like it's just a few bucks. And I often wonder, what's up with that, But yeah, overall, I'm working on this portfolio. There are these two sites that I'll talk about once I have more experience with them. But one's called Acadium, Acadim. The other one's called Volunteer Match. And then there's HubSpot's digital marketing course. So that's the kind of stuff that mostly interests me. It's stuff that you can like learn, like skills you can learn online. I'm always into digital marketing related things. I kind of know a lot, but it's like I still have a lot of, skills to develop. So I'm really trying to get good with the analytics side of things. But it really does take time. And so that's why I'm saying I don't really want to be going out and doing delivery, so I can spend some time working on this portfolio and the stuff that I learn alongside of everything. But we'll see. Like, I don't really depend on Spotify anymore for monetization. I'm kind of just recording for fun at this point. I'll see. Like, they do have some webinars that they do put up about how people can, make more money with Spotify. I would say when it comes to anything kind of like digital related money, when it comes to like social media and all that kind of stuff, it really just takes that effort, that consistency. Like the other day, I don't remember what day it was, but it was sometime last week, I was working on this like Instagram profile, and I'm connected with a lot of like, not a lot, but a few Discord groups and like groups of people that kind of have like overlap of interests. So I'm kind of learning and like seeing what other people are doing, and part of these like a couple communities of people, either through courses or through just groups that I kind of follow and try to like follow the methods. Um, but mostly from the jobs that I've applied to that I want, that I've been denied from, most of them kind of say the same thing. They're like, need more experience, need more experience. And so I'm like, okay. So that's kind of what's going on with this whole process of staying home and being online and working on these, projects, is that's my experience. It's my work experience. And so, I'm trying to level it up little by little. It just, it does take time because I'm like working on the side. Like I do have to like make money. Some of the stuff online does make money. It just depends. It just depends. I can't even talk about it right now because it's not like sure. Like I don't like talking about things where I'm like, either I haven't figured out a method, or somebody else who is online kind of talking about their method. There's just so much out there that's clickbait. I would say check out Kimberly Mitchell's stuff. She talks a lot about what doesn't work, or how it doesn't work, or what didn't work. Everything from from those websites where they tell people, or from how they tell people, make a faceless YouTube. I think she said she made like 700 in a year from that after the site was monetized. Like there's stuff like that where it's like there's these other people online that say you can make so much money, but they don't really show proof. And people can Photoshop anything, but I would say if people don't have really like first-hand experience, or even like secondhand, it's kind of hard to really pay attention to what they're doing. They make it sound like, oh, you can do this, but it's like, did they do it, or are they all just regurgitating some clickbaity thing? Which is what I hear a lot, is a lot of that kind of like people talking in clickbait language, and they kind of just entice people to like watch their videos. It kind of gives you a bit of a dopamine hit to kind of think, oh, I might make money doing this. It's almost like a gamble. And a lot of people want to make money without doing a lot, which is understandable. I mean, I think everybody's overworked. Most people are kind of underpaid. But, I'm mostly trying not to take a job that's gonna, mess up my health more than what it already is. I need something that's stable, where I can move out, and that is steady, and that isn't just, a dead end. So, I mean, things like Uber Eats, like you're not going to get promoted, you're not going to, you know, you do have some incentives, but you're still going to be doing the same thing. Like, you don't become like a manager, or like, it doesn't give you any in with like the Uber company to like, at least to my knowledge, it doesn't make it so you can like get a position with Uber and like start like working like in their customer service department, or like coding or anything like that, or get like a cybersecurity certification and start like working cybersecurity just because you were doing deliveries. I mean, maybe it gets your foot in the door, but I don't really think it does. Maybe it just helps because you know the program a little bit, but I don't really think it helps that much, in all honesty. But I don't know. I'm trying to find things to help people. Um, I would say mostly what people need um, is experience. Like that's kind of what's getting my foot in the door is where I have experience. That's where I'm getting contact from, and so I'm trying to build more experience in other areas. Um, there does come a point though where a bit of an investment might be necessary, like an educational investment, certifications, things like that. You don't always want to rely on certifications. Some of them aren't really highly looked upon. Like hiring managers don't necessarily see certifications and be like, oh, you know, you got this certification, therefore, like it might depend. But from what I'm hearing, like I've researched a lot in digital marketing, sales, cybersecurity, and IT. Um, I look into those a lot because they interest me, and that's kind of like what I like to kind of think about. And, if I'm building my own skills or building skills for myself within my own interests, is usually in those categories. And so when I see that people are doing that, I try to see where the people who get hired, like what they're talking about. And sometimes I look at the comments and you see like people who say that they're hiring managers. This is mostly through YouTube. A lot of the time they want a type of portfolio or experience or side projects or internships. A lot of these positions that say entry level, they want 5 years of experience. A lot of these positions that, like the places I've been getting recruited for, it's because I have over 7 years of experience already, but I'm already overqualified. So the issue is with mental health out here in LA, because I'm not a licensed professional either. The issue that I have out here, first of all, I don't want to do that work. But second of all, a lot of it's far from where I live. They want me working over in Skid Row or like somewhere like in Downey or somewhere that's going to be like far from me. At least 30 miles one way, which is too far for me. I've talked about this old car and stuff. There's no way it makes sense to drive 5 days a week, 60 miles round trip a day in traffic both ways, with this old car. Like, it's just not going to hold up. I'm comfortable driving it kind of locally during low traffic times, like doing lunch rush. There's really not that much traffic around lunch, especially if you're just delivering. Usually I'm not like sitting in like miles and miles of traffic too much out here. But once the school's let out, there's more traffic. So I try to get everything out of the way before the school's let out. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm learning. I'm probably not the most helpful person, unfortunately, for people who want to, learn more about what I'm doing. I kind of don't like to talk about things until I'm pretty sure it's working, but that's kind of where my research has led me, is towards how people are getting experience. A lot of people who are trying to break into tech and all these other types of fields, there are the people that get in with no experience. Those are the ones that you hear a lot of talk from. You hear a lot of these people reviewing the certification programs, giving testimonials. I did this class, I did it for 2 weeks, for 4 weeks, for 4 months, whatever. And then I got a job, with no experience. Now, it does seem like there are a lot of people that are saying that, but when you look in the comments and when you look elsewhere, when you just start searching off the beaten path from where these people are in the mainstream talking, there is a very high percentage of people that talk about, hey, I got the same certification. Hey, I got this experience. I'm having trouble finding a job. Um, One thing that people talk about who are the instructors, they talk about the resume. Um, you have to nowadays have a resume that gets you past all the freaking screening processes that are set up online, because there are very few jobs nowadays where you can just go and sign up and start working in person. Um, I would recommend, if you have like WorkSource or something similar, like a government supported work program in your area, sign up for that kind of stuff. Even if it's not what you want to do, I feel like they don't require too much of your time and energy. I think the one I signed up to, I had to go to like one online webinar. It's all remote now, so even though it would have been inconvenient to drive over there, um, my first sessions meeting with the with the job counselor was by phone, and she's helpful, but mostly sends me information job about job what do you call it, like job fairs, local job fairs. They're not that local to me though. A lot of them are far, and that's the other issue with LA. It's like everything, if it's not like within 10 miles from you, it's going to be an inconvenience. And I'm not saying that, you can't ever be inconvenienced by like a one day kind of like event. Like that's fine. But I'm just thinking of people who might not have cars or might not have money to be spending like going to these types of things. Um, you do want to get your foot in the door, but it really isn't, you know, I don't know. It's just a weird, it's weird. It's just a weird experience. Because you're mostly online nowadays anyway. So then to have that one thing where you're like going out to job fairs, it's just a little weird, because it's like, I remember way back like applying for jobs in person and stuff, and that was more normal. Just walk into a store, you have your clothes on that you're going to wear and just start handing out, you know, your resume and filling out applications in the store and waiting for the manager and at least trying to talk to him or set up an interview or whatever. And, you could just do it by foot, just walking around the mall and stuff. Like you used to be able to do that. And I mean, I'm not saying you can't do that anymore. There are a lot of places that are hiring a lot. I think I talked about this, but I think Caleb Hammer mentioned this too. Panda Express, they tend to be hiring a lot. The other day, I did a delivery at a Panda Express. They had, I don't know how many staff. They had way too many staff. They had probably like, I don't know how many people in the back cooking, maybe 4 or 5 people cooking. They have that register up front. There were at least 3 or 4 people either serving food or at registers. And the manager was behind that counter too, like paying attention to the cooks, paying attention to the register, paying attention to the people serving the food. There were like 2 or 3 people standing, these are staff, 2 or 3 staff standing between the front of the counter where customers go and like the seating area, and they were kind of greeting people, asking if they needed anything. trying to help with orders and things. One of the managers came over, like 3 or 4 people asked me while I was there, you know, if I'd been helped within the span of like 2 minutes. And when I walked right in the door, and uh, there were just a bunch of people like there, like there were more staff than there were customers, and this was like during lunchtime. There were a lot of staff. They were everywhere. Um, they were all working hard, and there were a lot of orders sitting on the shelf. One of the managers came and tried to help me find the order, and he looked through all the labels, and he looked twice and didn't see it. And after I'd waited there for a while, I decided to look, and then I saw the order. So he had overlooked it after I'd been waiting there for maybe like 5 minutes or so. I don't know how long it really was. But things like that where I'm just like, I mean, I'm not like complaining. Like, that's easy to overlook. I'm just saying, like, you walk into places sometimes and there's definitely a lot of staff. So it's not like there aren't any jobs. It's just how much the jobs are paying, I don't know. But if you have a degree, you could probably become management at a site like that. Some people say within like 6 months or so. And a lot of these places starting are paying like 18, almost 20 an hour with no experience. So it's not, in a place like LA, it's not like it's gonna get you an apartment or anything, but it's like, you won't be hungry if you're working full time for like 18 an hour. You can at least eat, like it's decent money starting, and benefits a lot of times too. I've seen McDonald's are like that, Chick-fil-A's are like that. Chick-fil-A seems to have a little less staff, but I think they have a lot of staff in the parking lot for the drive-thrus. In-N-Out has a whole bunch of staff all the time. It's a busy place. McDonald's, I've noticed they hire some older people lately. I've seen a lot of people weekend mornings when I do deliveries near that breakfast and brunch kind of rush. I see a lot of people tending, they have like these vests on, and they do like the digital stuff. Like they're there for like the digital orders. I can't remember what it says on the vest. I don't know if it says digital or online or whatever it says. But they're the ones that are tending to like the online orders. There's like a whole team of people that are like responsible for that, because they get so many, and they have like a whole shelf with the orders. Chipotle is another one that usually has a whole shelf filled with like orders. So there's a lot of places that, that this online, delivery system kind of situation is creating more jobs. But I know what people are more concerned about is, am I going to get paid enough to live off of it? Like, you don't want to be having like 3 of those types of Panda Express jobs. Like, you want one job in 8 hours a day. Most people don't want to be working like 4 jobs, 3 jobs, 2 jobs. That's kind of the problem in the reality right now. But I would say if someone could start a job like that, or even doing Uber Eats or something along those lines, like getting a job where maybe you're underpaid and then doing Uber Eats on top of it while you're getting experience in something, for people trying to break into these tech fields. And I know, okay, people say that tech jobs are not hiring. People say that a lot of people got laid off. Yes, they did. But when you look at the patterns of who got laid off, it's big companies. It's a lot of these huge companies that overemploy, like Google, Facebook, Tesla, whatever. They overemploy. They have too many staff. And so when they need to cut, they cut a bunch of people because they hired way too many people over what they needed. And so to me, that's a little bit of a different situation than what they make it sound like. A lot of times people are like, oh, all the tech jobs are bad. It's like, no, there are still a lot of jobs. I know, if you look at Google's certifications, I think cybersecurity, I hope I'm not wrong saying this. The cybersecurity, you can look it up yourself and see if I'm right, but cybersecurity is hiring for like over 500,000 jobs, just over 500,000 jobs in cybersecurity. Now, are these internships or very early entry level positions? That's what we don't know. I don't know the breakdown of what these jobs are, but higher than that is project management. And these are still within the tech realm. I think project management was like over 700,000 jobs. I mean, these are jobs that help companies, to do better. Project managers help work sites to kind of find holes and where things aren't going right and help them to make more money. And, they're setting up meetings and, talking to different companies and leadership in those companies and trying to like create plans of like how things can go smoother. 700,000 jobs, and then like 500,000 jobs for cybersecurity. I don't know if it was 2 or 300,000 for IT, and then there were some other certifications that had about the 200 to 300,000 range as well. So even if you get the Google's certifications through Coursera, you get a week free. I mean, I'm not an affiliate of these programs or anything. You get a week free to get as far as you can in the class for free. And then it's like $49 a month until you finish. You want to see if the certification, has exams. I know cybersecurity has CompTIA Security Plus. I think that one is like a little over $300. I think you could take it through Security Plus, and if you take it through the Google certification, I believe you get 30% off of your exam fee. And so 30% off of, if it's 300, that's like $90 off. So you're paying 200 something. I think it's a little more than 200, but you're paying like 200 something dollars to take that test, probably like $250 or so, $220 or something like that, versus 320 or whatever it is. And so you could save that money in the meantime. And $49 a month, it's a little expensive, but it's not that bad. It's not like the boot camps that cost like 15,000 or 8,000. So there are a lot of ways to kind of like slowly level up. And while you're doing, those classes, creating a portfolio alongside through GitHub. That's what a lot of people are doing, and they're getting experience, either volunteer experience, intern experience. They're just kind of slowly moving up. There's some students that said that they worked at like a local school and then moved up to like a community college near their area, and within months, it's like a few months working here, and like maybe like a year working there, but they can still do other jobs in the meantime. So I mean, these are the things that people aren't talking about that I haven't really heard. Like I hear and see the clickbait, and the scare of like don't get jobs in tech, and then I hear and see, a whole other side of people saying I just got a job in tech. but then you don't really hear the people who are kind of silent about like, hey, I'm having a hard time getting work after getting a certification. And I think mostly what's happening is you need more experience. And that's pretty much what I've been told from the interviews that I've done, where, I wanted the job and it would have been good pay. And they're like, but your experience is still a little low. And so that's kind of what they recommend. I even asked about like commission only jobs, and they're kind of like, well, if you can afford it, but it also kind of depends like what the job is, how much overlap is there going to be with the job that you want to do. I don't think there's anything wrong with working for no money, but are you going to get a recommendation? There's this guy, for people who are interested in like cybersecurity and things. Let me find this guy. He does a course. So a lot of people know about course careers. Trent Dressel does the what do you call it? Trent Dressel does the tech sales part of it right now. He has a lot of content that he's been posting lately on LinkedIn. He had something maybe like a month ago or a few weeks back where he talked about after 5 years of having experience, he even had trouble getting a job. So that's not a really great selling point for that program at the moment. But then they're still coming out with a bunch of people who have content who do get work. Usually those are the people you hear from or you hear about. I'm trying to find this guy's name. I think his last name's like Madakor. Yeah, Josh Madakor. He talks a lot about cybersecurity. He has his own program. He also has a program where he he teaches it not through Course Careers but on his own. He does talk about the Google cybersecurity versus Security Plus. He has a video that talks about that. He has videos about how the resume should look. He has videos about experience. Now his program seems like the difference is you can get experience through his program directly by being on the private Discord and helping other students. I think he said if you help 10 students, you get he can give you a recommendation and you can put it on your resume. If you help more students, you get like, he calls it like a certain label where you can say that you have experience as a whatever this label, volunteer or job experience title is, that he gives you for helping 10 or 20 people or whatever. So that, is one opportunity. I think his class is like 400 something bucks. And then Course Careers, I think all their classes are like between 450 and 500 bucks with payment plan availability for like 150 bucks or so every 2 weeks. And yeah, they also have an IT program. They also have, talking about Course Careers, they also have an IT program. They also have they have digital marketing, tech sales. I talked about those already. What's that engineering? Sales engineer? I don't remember what it's called. Where you're basically demonstrating the products. I think they have UX, UI. I think Um, and so they have a lot of programs. Rich from Rich UX or Rich Niche, he does the digital marketing portion. Again, he has his own course as well, where people talk about, using his course to make money. So one thing I'm noticing is Course Careers takes these people who have, high success rates with their own students in their own programs, and has them make a course through Course Careers. Now, the difference from what I'm seeing, which I don't want to say 100%, but the difference from what I'm kind of noticing is the people who use like Josh Madakor or Rich Niche. I don't know about Trent Dressel too well. I think, what's this other guy's name? And then I gotta get off here and make some breakfast because it's getting late. It's a little after 8 right now. What's his name? I'm looking for this guy who has videos about digital marketing. It's not Rich Niche. He has his own. Seth Jared. So Seth Jared took a course from, I don't know if it was from Shane Hummus. Someone that Shane Hummus mentioned has a course where Seth Jared took the course. Or maybe he made his own course. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and see how that story unfolds. But it seems to me that Seth Jared has a lot of students coming out who are talking about how, using his digital marketing program and getting experience, they're landing jobs. I've heard more from his students making jobs than I have from Course Careers. But if I combine Seth Jared and Rich Niche, both of their students are coming out with ability to get jobs. Now it's not in super high amounts of students, but you see people getting jobs through these tech certifications and the experience that they have, and the side projects and the portfolios that they create. I guess the thing that's a little different with digital marketing compared to some of the other paths, digital marketing and cybersecurity, is you can kind of make a portfolio. You can kind of make examples of, demonstrating how you can use your skills. For sales, you kind of can, but it's a little more, I feel like it's a little more nuanced. You could technically make a product and pitch it and try to sell it to people. You could practice cold calling, you could practice prospecting. You could either make a digital product or something, but it's if you're going to get sales or not, I don't know if that would affect your ability to get work if you couldn't get sales. Because it's if you don't really know how to create a product and then advertise it or sell it, or price it or whatever, if you don't have those marketing skills on top, or web design skills to have an actual site for your product or your service or whatever. I'm not saying you can't sell, but I think that might be the missing piece for some people. But you could still have a service that you are good at that you could still promote. It's just, if you're not good at making a website or making a social media community having a presence online and all that. Like, because when you think about other companies, like, usually it's like if you're talking to someone who's a prospect, usually what you want is somebody who is based on the research, based on the market research, they would be a qualified lead. And it's just really hard to do all that. It's not impossible, but it's like you kind of have to wear a few hats if you're trying to get experience that way. And then there's the commission only kind of jobs that are easier to get, but it's like, I don't know. So you could kind of go those routes and then say, hey, I prospected, I researched, I had all these other skills that I implemented. I don't know if that will land the person a job. You could track KPIs and get all your metrics together. But I don't know how good it would look if you're like, oh yeah, like I made 3,000 calls and didn't get one sale or didn't get one meeting. It's more so about setting up meetings, because usually that's what you would be doing, as an SDR role, as a sales development representative, like entry level. You're basically setting up meetings for the account executives, and so it's mostly your job to kind of pitch your product, not really pitch it, but more like figure out the pain points of a potential, of a prospect, and qualify them as a lead that actually would be able to meet certain criteria of people who need or might want this product or service. But it's just a lot to do versus like with digital marketing, ranking your sites. It's not that it's, or like running ads to your sites, like Google and Facebook ads and things like that, and like tracking the analytics and knowing about SEO, SEM, creating content. Like that's stuff that you can kind of learn hands on, and you're not wearing like 1,000 hats versus like if you're trying to practice sales, you kind of have to have something that you're selling. And so if you're making that thing from scratch, you kind of have to like figure out all the marketing behind it so you can actually sell it. I mean, you don't have to. You could still just like practice or use products that you already know about. I wouldn't say anything like eBay. That probably wouldn't work, but like you could potentially find somebody on LinkedIn that might let you try to pitch their product or set up meetings for their coaching services. I've seen that a lot where there's like job coaches or different kind of coaches, and they have somebody working for them setting up meetings. I mean, that could potentially count. But yeah, I mean, just to try to get one of those positions, or there's commission only. But I mean, when it comes to like experience, that's kind of where the research has kind of led me, is like this is what companies are kind of looking into. A lot of people, there is that kind of issue, where it's like they say like, and it's true, you need experience to get the job, but then how are you going to get experience with no job? You have to find like volunteer or very low pay or intern or some kind of class related projects or something that's going to get you the experience that you need, and just trying to focus on experience. But then you're probably still going to have to make money on the side too, so you got to make sure you're putting your energy where it needs to be. And that's kind of where I find it difficult, is like trying to be motivated towards multiple things, like the training aspect, the experience aspect, the educational aspect of things, practicing, and then still having to go out and like make cash. That's a lot to have to do. But treat it like school. I mean, those of you who have been to like universities and schools, it's the same thing. You go to school, you don't make money. Most of us didn't make money sitting in class and going to school and doing projects. You just have to be diligent and motivated to do it on your own, and make sure you're progressing and you're not just, you know, doing things that feel like you're getting moving forward, but you're not. That's easy to do too, to get distracted in some black hole part of a project where you're just like, oh, what was I doing for like 3 days? But time's running out. Gotta go make breakfast. Thanks for listening.